Welcome to episode 7 of the TV Autopsy, slicing its way through the series you love. My name is James.
My name is Deborah.
And I'm Megan.
Well, hello, and hello to you both at the same time. How are you?
Hello.
Oh,
Good.
it's been a long time, hasn't it?
Had a summer hiatus.
Yeah, we had a few things going on, all of us. But we are back with a vengeance, ready to shake the world of television to its foundations.
Sort of.
Kind of.
Its core.
Right, so we still haven't had any correspondence. I don't know why. Obviously, we're doing everything perfectly right, I think. People are sitting there wanting to write something, but it's perfect.
Where would they write to us if they wanted to write to us?
Oh, that's a very good point. No idea. A TV Autopsy at tvautopsypodcast@gmail.com. There is a Facebook page. You can just search for that on TV Autopsy. Oh goodness.
There's Twitter, there's Instagram.
TV_autopsy at Instagram. Just slide into our DMs.
Come on, drop us a line, say how good we are or how bad we are, but please, preferably how good we are.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let's have a little bit of news. All right, I'll kick us off with some news. News that both of you already know about, but our listener doesn't. We have a new feature. What? Yeah, so our new feature is called Post Mortem. It's going to be popping up after our credits. And what we thought it is Megan, what is it?
I thought, you know what I like chatting, I love reminiscing about telly. And so I thought at the end we could just have a little bit of a, not necessarily particularly prepared. We're just going to chat about things that we can remember watching and that we enjoyed.
And it's not completely random though. It's gonna go in partnership with our main
with the theme.
Absolutely be shoehorning in some connection with the Prime.
Lovely. So but we're putting that at the end of the credits. So because I know people's time is precious, and but hopefully you'll stick around and listen to that. We don't know if it's going to be any good yet because we haven't recorded it.
Yay!
Anyone else got any news?
I'm a bit low on news.
Oh, well, I'm
normally on top of it.
I've got more. It's kind of slightly dated now, but I think we should probably mention the passing of the X Factor.
The passing?
There is no more.
There will be no more.
Yeah.
Well, it's
kind of.
I know it kind of fizzled out.
Gaping hole in my life.
No, me neither. And they really did flog that dead horse. However, there was a time when it was very, very good television. It was
Saturday night, yeah. And more often than not, I would be switching on to watch that over Strictly.
Well, yeah. I very often would sit in your house on Saturday evenings and enjoy that.
Rachel at the Deji.
Rachel at the Deji.
Rachel at the Deji.
Yeah. So end of an era, really.
Simon just earned enough money he didn't need to do anymore.
Well, I think they had something like 100 viewers at the end of it. It was, but there you go.
My friend was the executive producer of the X Factor.
Well, she did a really bad job of it.
It was a he. Marked it away.
No, I'm sure. What, in its height or in its...
The whole thing, all the time.
Well done him. I bet he's very rich.
Good.
Yes, he has got some very nice pictures that he posts on Facebook when he's on holiday.
Well, ask him if he'd like us, the X Factor, to sponsor our podcast.
After we've just spoken so highly of it.
Yeah, maybe not.
Okay, and then new series of Lock and Keys on its way. I don't know if you guys watched the first.
Oh, is it? Is it really?
Excellent.
Yes,
when is it? When is it available?
Well, I don't have all the details. I've just seen the trailer, so it's not long.
Oh, that's great. I quite enjoyed that. It's quite it's like a good kids.
I enjoyed it.
Series.
Well, I enjoyed it, but I can't really remember what happened now, except there were lots of locks and lots of keys.
That's right, and they all have special powers.
There was a well.
Do you know who's written by?
Rachel Adedeji.
Well, unfortunately, his name escapes me.
Oh,
Joe something. However, I
Joe
can't tell
Wiley.
you.
It was Stephen King's son.
Oh, yes, it was. Well done.
It's not Joe Black, but it's Joe.
Joe Bloggs.
Joe something. Anyway, and I thought I'd mention. Oh no, I'm not going to mention that because I will talk about that in a minute. That's all my news, really.
Alrighty.
Right, so let's move straight on to Cutting Edge.
Gentlemen, you are about to enter the most fascinating sphere of police work, the world of forensic medicine.
Oh, now I have a Cutting Edge.
I should hope so. What have you been watching to recommend to the nation?
I watched White Lotus.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of White Lotus?
I have started watching White Lotus.
So I watched it in one go. There are 6 episodes. It's a comedy drama filmed in Hawaii. It concerns the lives of staff and guests that go and visit this tropical resort called the White Lotus. It's in Hawaii, and actually they've renewed it to be an anthology series. So what's going to happen is, because these 6 episodes concern the staff and employees and travellers of this particular
Is it
series.
like Duty Free?
Oh yeah, but better. And then you've got but they're going to continue it, but at a different White Lotus resort with a different set of staff and a different set of travellers. So that's going to be continued. But yeah, it's really funny. Jennifer Coolidge is in it, who's absolutely brilliant. Jake Lacey, who's a father of these teens, you would recognise him. Murray Bartlett. It's very funny. There's one episode where it's so shockingly funny that you dare to rewind it just to have another look, but I didn't.
So you watched it on VHS, did you?
Yeah.
So where can you watch that?
So that was on. What was that on? Can't remember.
Well,
It's Netflix or Now, one or the other.
Oh, well, it'll be Netflix then.
Good stuff. All right. How about you, Megan?
I am currently watching just a brilliant TV series. I haven't finished it. I must be about 5 or 6 episodes in. It's just landed on Netflix. Squid Games.
Oh, yes, I've seen this. The trailer.
So
the whole
good.
thing, baby. See the whole thing.
It's a Korean.
Is it like Battle Royale sort of thing?
It's I can't remember how I likened it. It's kind of The Long Walk meets Hunger Games meets The Truman Show meets it's.
Well,
what were you going to say, James?
Deborah was right to kind of, because Battle Royale was the first one, really. That kind
I don't know. I haven't seen Battle Royale.
Yeah,
which is where a load of school kids went to go to an island, and they have to kill each other.
Oh, it's like, and that's survival. Like the 3%, which is a fab Brazilian program, like similar.
Anyway, go on. Tell us.
Oh, it's really, really good. So this unknown entity draws together hundreds of very desperate individuals who and sets them to playing, and it's very stylized viewing, and they're all wearing exactly the same clothes, and the people monitoring what's going on it looks like a video game. It's got that kind of concept to it, and it's just shockingly brutal. So they end up playing kids games, but if you lose,
murderous consequences,
die. And so it's just brilliant. I've just watched the episode, which is just probably the first really poignant one, where some of the characters that you're really invested in maybe not making it through to the next episode, and it's just brilliant.
It's South Korean, I wasn't sure to begin with. I thought it was a little bit slow. Wasn't quite sure where it's going, but actually, all the bits that happen outside the game are very good, and it doesn't do all that kind of flashback, flash forward stuff. You see the kind of families of these people, all that kind of stuff. It's well worth it. But yeah, it is pretty gruesome.
And how many episodes are there?
It's about 6 or 7.
Seven, I
Okay,
think.
so quite a good one to do in a night then.
If you've got like 5 hours or so to spare. Oh, okay.
No.
What else are we doing with our time these days?
Yeah, but no, lockdown's finished. We can go out again now. Right. My selection this month is season 3 of Ghosts.
I love it so much. I love it so much.
Sitcom on BBC One, set kind of stately home, for want of a better word, which has a load of ghosts from lots of different eras, kind of made by, am I right in saying, the Horrible Histories team?
Correct.
And stars a few people. When I watched the first season, and famously on another podcast I won't mention, I basically dissed it and said it was just Heidi High with ghosts in it.
How could you have?
Critical. And then I kind of watched another episode and suddenly I thought it was brilliant. I saw it all for
genius.
it was.
It is really clever.
Yeah.
It's genius. Who's your favourite character?
Oh, I've got a couple, but I like the kid, man.
Robin. That's Robin. And then
Bossy Boots. Oh, you're Bossy Boots. Yeah, and I like the woman who talks like that, the maid from...
Oh, I got his burnt, stitched. Yes. Yeah. And then
how about you two?
I love Pat, but I just love him, the little scout leader.
Oh, with the arrow through him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kitty, she grew on me.
Oh, I love Kitty.
Oh, I'll be your best friend. Will you be my best friend?
I think my favourite moment from this series was when Kitty sat down to enjoy Grease.
Oh, yes.
And popped out halfway through, and the Tory guy turned over the TV to Nightmare on Elm Street, and she came back terrified. Going, I don't like it anymore. Like, he's trying to get the girl. I know, I don't like it.
He goes into your dream.
I haven't seen all of it. I've seen the first couple of episodes.
There you
good.
go. Wonderful. All right, let's move on to the darker side of life with Flatliner. All right, anyone been watching anything they haven't enjoyed?
I've got one. It's a bit of a controversial one because I didn't absolutely.
If you say the Serpent, I'll be really annoyed.
Meh.
Oh.
So, was anybody watching Vigil?
No,
weren't. I've seen that it's on.
Sunday night, it finished, finale last night. Sunday night, it made by the Line of Duty lot.
So a submarine, right?
Yeah, it was set in a submarine. Martin Compton, who plays Steve Arnott in Line of Duty, was a surprise guest star because he pitched up and everyone was very excited, but he got done in on the very first episode. How do you pitch up on a submarine? Say again?
How do you pitch up on a submarine? Are you underwater?
He pitched up in the program, but he was very swiftly dispatced.
Was he Scottish or was he?
He was playing a Glaswegian.
Aye.
So his own voice. And then Saran Jones was the police detective who got sent on board the submarine to investigate. And so it had all of the suitable drama and suspense and all that sort of stuff, but she was actually really annoying, which is very, very unusual.
Saran Jones was.
I found her really annoying.
Is the woman from Behind Her Eyes in it?
Who's that?
Ooh,
I'm just thinking there's a little woman that lives in her head.
The main lady that was in Behind Her Eyes, is she not in it?
I don't recall seeing her in it.
Okay.
The other main character, so the sort of like the detective who stayed on land was in Game of Thrones, played egret
Oh, Rose Leslie.
Thank you.
All the facts here first.
Yeah.
Rose Leslie. Kit Harington.
Told you I hadn't
Kit
written
Harington's
anything down.
husband, wife.
Oh, the person who did something. This is standard me discussing TV, by the way. I'm not.
All right.
normally-
So why did it not?
So the reason it didn't is that Saran Jones's character really, I found her just really annoying, and she did away with all police protocol and just started accusing people left, right, and centre whilst on a submarine when they couldn't go anywhere. So she just like threw accusations left, right, and centre without properly investigating it, and it just the level of disbelief that was required suspending, that they would allow all of this activity to go on and not recall the submarine to base for a proper investigation. It just all felt hugely contrived, and I watched it through to the end, but I was very disappointed, and it annoyed me.
How many seasons? Episodes?
4 or 6?
Not 5.
I don't know. Not many.
It's interesting that you mentioned Saran Jones, because I generally like her very much, and I watched the I Am Victoria. So that would be my flatliner. So the I Am anthology, which is you've got I Am Danielle, I Am Hannah, I Am Maria. So they're all
I Am Woman.
Separate stories about certain women doing something. I Am Victoria is the only one I've seen. It came on a recommendation, and I just thought it was really badly written. I thought she was as good as she could be. Yeah, she was as good as she could be, with a lot of close-up camera shots to kind of, I don't know, bed into the truth behind the eyes and all this sort of stuff. But I just thought it was just.
I watched the first half of it, but it was on at like going to bed time.
Hold on, what are we talking about? Oh, this one, yeah.
I Am Victoria, and I found it so stressful that I knew I wouldn't sleep, so I had to stop watching it because I found it. But I thought she was excellent.
Yeah.
I thought that the explosion of emotions and the how they got over some of these like family relationships was brilliant. I just thought there was precisely zero chemistry between her and her husband.
Oh yeah. It felt so flat.
It was, even though they were sort of like imploding, it didn't have any of that.
I found it was very, and like I say, Saran, she did as good as she could with the material, because I just felt there was a bit of overacting with all this. I'm hyperventilating, and it just felt a bit GCSE level drama.
Did she have asthma or something? Why was she doing that?
No, because she's just having a.
There was a lot of that in Vigil.
Oh my god!
Because she ran out of meds while she was on the boat. So she was just like,
I say this thing nowadays when I watch something and the acting, you can really see the acting. You can really see them acting.
Yeah,
yeah. All right. Okay. Well, you may remember that last month my flatliner was Supergirl, to which I unfortunately didn't finish the entire run because it's not finished yet. They're still making the damn thing. But there's only about 7 or 8 episodes to go.
I do like your commitment to your flatliners.
Well, you'll be impressed because
them.
This month's flatliner, I've been watching all the series of The Flash, which in comparison to Supergirl isn't as good. So I don't know what I'm doing, really.
What are you doing?
I think you are stretching it when your superpower is just speed. Because Superman's got speed and all the rest of the stuff, as has Supergirl. But they have to kind of convolute all these storylines about speed. Apparently, there's a speed force, which is like a mystical quality. It's all absolute nonsense. And I know...
That's a very 70s notion, isn't it?
Well, I think
that one superpower, and what I'm saying is that every story revolves around the ability for that person that's in the story to deal with it.
Absolutely. Anyway, only 4 more seasons to go, and then I'm free. And then I'll probably end up watching The Arrow. And then
Don't do it to yourself.
I know. It's like self-flagellation. Right. That's enough of all that. So let's get on with our main feature, shall we? The series up for dissection this month is The Serpent. And before we have some wonderful facts from our wonderful Deborah, let's have a little clip.
It's a good life that I provide here. I have been good to you. And you understand why it's hard for me to accept that you just want to leave. Our home is always open to friends.
Who is your guest, Ajay?
Oh, you're the gem dealer.
He is the gem dealer. My husband, Alain.
Authorities began their case to extradite him.
We have a network of careers throughout Asia and Western Europe.
Which is how we are able to offer such attractive prices.
To France. To France. To France.
What's wrong with us?
To France.
So there are 8 episodes. This was commissioned by the BBC, and Netflix shared that kind of distribution with them. Hans Herbeau and Tom Shanklin, they directed it, 4 episodes each. Hans Herbeau did Spiral, Cobra, Riviera. Tom Shanklin did the Les Mis TV series, Missing, The Leftovers. We did 1 episode of The Leftovers. Ripper Street, House of Cards. Locations filmed in Bangkok, Thailand. Then COVID happened. They had a 5-month pause, and then they filmed the rest of it in Hertfordshire. So there was no filming on location in India or in France, where some of the action takes place. Tahar Rahim is the lead character, Charles Sobrage, or Alain. He was notable in, I've not seen it, but the Mauritianen, which was with Jodie Foster. That was a Golden Globe nomination. Then you have Jenna Coleman, who plays Monique, or Marie-André. She's in Doctor Who, Victoria, Inside Number 9, The Cry, Emma Dale. Billy Howell, who plays Herman, who is the Dutch diplomat. He's Rey's father in Star Wars, and he's British. Ellie Bamber, who plays Angela, his wife. She's also British. She was Cosette in Les Mis, the TV series, and she was also in Nocturnal Animals, the film. Mathilde Varnier, just giving her a special mention. She's Nadine. She was in Spiral. Tim McKinnery.
Mess that up.
Well, I've always said it like that. He plays Paul. He's everyone knows him as Blackadder's darling, Notting Hill, so on. Then there's Anesh. I can't pronounce his surname, I don't think, because I didn't write it properly down, but I think it's Adiwira, who plays AJ. He's in Doctor Who, by the way.
Is he?
Yes, he plays Mr. Halpert in the 2008 Planet of the Odds.
Planet of the Ood, I think you'll find.
Oh, fine. That's my writing.
That's the guy who you just mentioned for Blackadder, who's in Planet of the Ood.
He's also in it as well, yes.
Oh.
Tim McKinnon. Fabian Frankel, another special mention. He's from the UK, but he plays Dominique. He's now filming House of the Dragon. And another special mention to the mother, because I thought she was great, Kathy Min Jung, who plays Charles Sobrage's mother.
All right. So, Megan, in a nutshell, what's it all about?
So, it is based on a very true story from the 70s, where a confidence trickster sounds a little bit too flippant, but where a deeply sinister psychopath befriends various and controls various people and travels internationally as a gem seller, but basically leaves a lot of Western tourists dead in his wake.
Yeah. All right. So this was my choice. This came out in January of this year, and obviously we just got through a very kind of odd Christmas, and obviously we're in the midst of lockdown, all that kind of stuff, and January is a bit of a weird time anyway, but my friend Sarah told me about this, and I stuck it on, and I was just riveted from the start. As a TV series, it felt so refreshing, but also and it was gripping with the story. I like the fact it was a true story, and I hadn't heard of this guy before or anything that he'd done. But what I also really liked was the fact that it was a bit like going on holiday, because it was really nice to feel like you were in Thailand and all that kind of stuff. Now, I know not all of it was filmed in Thailand, but it fooled me enough. And the exotic locations were just brilliant. And I thought that they did the style really well. So I just thought it was a really clever, well-made drama. And for the first time in a long time, it did the thing which I hate, but did it properly, which is this kind of time jump thing that everybody's obsessed with these days. Now, you two may disagree, but usually when they do a time jump, they're revealing something from the past about the character, which informs, you know, the drama going forwards. But for this, the two storylines were kind of running parallel. And it was kind of very exciting because you knew what was happening with the murder. And on the other side, you had the diplomat trying to save the day. I absolutely loved it. And I can tell by your, I was going to say ugly faces, but I wouldn't dare, your faces that you didn't. So go on, Deborah, you go first.
Okay, so I was reticent about watching it because I was just expecting yet another glamorized serial killer and brainwashed bimbo. You know, graphic blood and gore and gratuitous detail and all that sort of stuff. But yes, I was drawn in because it was this tale. It was a bit more subtle. It's about this kind of supposedly intoxicating, charming, alluring character. And it sets the premise from the very start. So it's letting us know what he said and what he's supposed to have been done, what he's supposed to have been accused of. What
you mean with that chilling interview at the start?
At the start. So we know we know the scene set up at the beginning. So it's just a matter of, okay, we don't know, maybe we'll never know why he did it, because he's some kind of sociopath psychologically, we'll never know. So it's about the how he did it. So that was, you know, that was interesting. So okay, let's see where this is going and how he charms people into his lair, if you like, to then completely coerce and control and get them to do his bidding. But with what, I mean, and yes, it looked beautiful. The sets are beautiful. I lived in Thailand, so I was very interested in watching that. Jenna Coleman looked great. Costumes, great, fantastic. But I did feel that there was so much of that time interconnecting, that the shifting of time periods took a long while to get used to. I bet it felt very muddled, and it seemed it was the only kind of vehicle they could use to tell the story, to keep it interesting, you know, to force that suspense, like, you know, the cat and mouse feel. But I felt at times it was confused, it was baffling, it affected the tone and the momentum. And it always felt that it was a little bit out of reach or distance. You know, they would build this momentum, they would build a tension, and you'd get into it, and then suddenly we're cut back into another time, you know, another time. And I just felt that it was that distance. Maybe it was the intention, but, you know, that atmospheric, that build, and then it's intercut. And I just felt it diminished the volume of the story somewhat.
Okie dokie. Megan.
So I started watching it when it first came out and didn't get into it. So when you nominated it, I had to go back in and start watching it again. And the scores that I will give it will almost belie.
Don't spoil it.
No, but on many individual levels, I thought it was excellent. I thought everybody portrayed the characters excellently. I thought that like you were saying, seeing all the scenes and the locations was brilliant. I thought seeing the 70s style and the costumes, all of that was just excellent. And really, all of those had big ticks against them.
Yeah.
I thought that the way that they showed, I thought Jenna Coleman was phenomenal in the whole way through. You're like, is she really being controlled? Is she really in on it? Does she know what's going on? Is she as blasé as she makes out at sometimes? And she seemed really. So I thought that, I thought there was an excellent tension between her and him. But
there was tension everywhere. Whether it was
there? Because I didn't feel that in that sense. And I think my overarching thing was it went on too long, and they were trying really hard. To your point, Deborah, the jumping between the timelines, I was having to work so hard.
Yeah.
To know what period there was very little given away. I just watched another series called Cruel Summer, and they went completely the opposite way. So they were jumping around between 3 separate year periods, but they'd given the main character braces for 1 year, like teeth braces, that they gave her a different hair color for the second year, and they chopped all her hair off for the third. So you always knew. I mean, it was a bit clumsy, but you did always instantly know where you are in the time period, so you could piece it all together. But it did feel like I couldn't always
follow,
keep track of it, and it only really fell into place, I guess, right at the end, which is probably what they were going for. But had I not been reviewing it here, I would have given up on it again.
And I have to say that, the coming to the, I think there was tension throughout. I mean, I think episode 3 was amazing with Dominique's.
We'll hold on. We'll come to that.
But it kind of limped towards the end. That last half hour, it jumps a number of decades, the aging makeup, which wasn't so great, and the way that it sort of limped to the end, and it just felt like it lost a lot of steam.
You know, when we reviewed It's a Sin, we said, God, we could have had 8 episodes, or we could have had more. I feel the opposite. I think this could have done 5 episodes and wrapped it up.
I suppose I agree slightly. I wasn't. I thought when we found out about his first wife and all that kind of stuff, not so fascinated. However, it did go to flesh out his character, and I think we did learn about why he did this. You know, he had a deep-hated root of Western society and all this kind of stuff. But I mean, for me, I didn't have a problem with the time jumps because there were completely different characters in each. It wasn't like these characters popped up all over the place. Really, RJ, who I thought was phenomenal, very sinister, but not just like a kind of pantomime villain. He was, you know, he
had menace.
Yeah, and the way that Monique hated him and all those kind of things, and the tension of that poor couple, the chef and his wife,
Nadine and Remy.
Yeah, I mean, just brilliant.
I mean, I would give her top.
She was fantastic.
Nadine, I thought,
was on edge of my seat.
Probably the best. You know, you are fighting for her and just hoping that she is going to be safe and that she's going to survive this. So yeah, I agree. The tension there, that kept me gripped.
Yeah,
it's like, please.
And for me as well, I think, and they kind of do this right at the end. Obviously, all the dialogues are imagined. However, we know that the facts are the facts because of what the guy did collecting all the evidence. But at the end of these things, usually there's 1 or 2 paragraphs, maybe a few lines about what really happened. And if you're lucky, you get a couple of pictures or something like this. This must have given about 3 or 4 minutes to all the people who were involved.
Yes, and I think
it became a tribute. Sorry, I'll straight up in a minute, but it became a tribute to all those people that died. And it was just, these were young people going out for their dreams.
Oh, that was excellently done. That was really well done.
I felt a lot of sadness for the backpackers. The fact that they were given characters we got to know, even briefly, a glimpse of the person, their lives, their background, their personalities, and then so cruelly taken. And I think the one in particular was Stephanie. She was, you know, we knew in an earlier episode she was going to die. And we see her saying goodbye to her mother and her daughter in France to go and search for her boyfriend who's gone missing, the Turk. And that was a particularly poignant, sad, you know, and I think, they've done well to, but again, I think, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing when you are forced to start Googling stuff about it during, you know, as you're watching, you know, because I found myself going, okay, well, what?
But didn't you do that with the Terror?
At the end, at the end.
Oh no! Oh, I do it during. So it's not a bad sign for me where I'm googling stuff. I'm just like, how much of this is real?
It depends when you want to fill in the gaps. But you know, yeah, you know, this guy is in Kathmandu, serving a life sentence. He's not got the death penalty over him there. That's how it ends, you know, and we know that she's gone off and died in Canada.
I think one criticism I do have of it is it was very sympathetic to Monique, and I don't think that's how it really panned out. I think she was pretty complicit, you know. It was almost like, oh, I've just fallen into the fact that I'm poisoning all these people.
Yeah, I mean, we get to see a lot of different viewpoints, but mainly it's about Jenna's emotional involvement and psychological state. And I've never really got on previously with Jenna Coleman's work. I appreciated her on this, but I still found elements of her very insipid character quite irritating, quite grating. Quite often she would be sat there with not a gormless look, that's the wrong thing to say, but a very blank, kind of vacant, kind of staring into space look, kind of.
Do you not take that as being deliberate?
Is he really doing that?
I thought she was brilliant.
I thought she was excellent.
There were just moments where I just thought, okay, we're just looking at your beauty at the moment because the camera loves you. We're not getting anything else but you.
I took that as being a bit deeper, in that, like, he'd be targeting certain types of people, and he would have targeted. Yeah, I was definitely up for that. I think that said a lot about him as well, that he was able to.
Yeah, well, look at
con her.
Yeah, well, he used her scar on her leg, didn't he? And all of that as an in, really, as exploiting a weakness, and the fact that he wouldn't have sex with her for ages and all this kind of stuff. It was all quite sinister. I mean, I think all the lead characters, I thought they were brilliant. I mean, RJ, I thought he pitched it perfectly. Charles, the guy who plays Charles Sabraj, just like
he was great. He was like this 70s gigolo Ken doll.
Yeah, murderous Ken doll. Absolutely. And I really felt for what's Glittenberg? Is it Glittenberger?
Herman.
You know,
Herman Nippenberg.
I mean, you could see the accent a bit with him, but he was trying his best. He was trying to solve the crimes, and no one listened to him.
Apparently, it's remarked in the Netherlands how he got a lot of his Dutch lines a bit wrong.
Now, that's another thing. They did something that El Dorado never achieved. A multilingual program. I thank you.
Sure. I mean, I was very.
There's a lot of things that El Dorado never achieved.
I was very impressed with Jenna's French speaking. Very impressed with that.
Yes, absolutely.
It was very good, Hélène.
Can we give a little bit of time to the drama, the tragedy, the nail-biting episode that was Dominique's story?
Dominique's story. Well, I thought there were two nail-biting episodes, but the Dominique one was the first proper nail-biter.
I mean, do we all have the same reaction to that? Were we on the edge of our seats? And
Totally.
I know people say that, but I don't think I've ever felt that.
And he's at the airport, and you're seeing the sort of like the sliding door principle, and you were like waiting for them to walk past. And I felt quite sick.
It was just so much of that from the moment they were starting to do the passports to everything. It was like,
with the woman that was getting arrested in the front of in the line at the front, and just you're putting too much. Yeah, they're going to look this way. If they come out now, they're going to look this way. They're going to see me. And to me, what that did achieve was the psychology of somebody who has felt so trapped in a relationship, and you're out in the open air, you're with millions of other people, there's police around, there's the army around, you're away from this person.
But
so what could he possibly do?
Well, he thought that he had
in the public, but that's the
paranoia. But he saw him with the policeman and stuff like that, and he knew he'd been fed those lies, and he was so weak and ill. My goodness. And I was really pleased again at the end when they said that he carried on traveling and stuff, and goodness me, but wow.
And I think, because you sort of think, what's the point of this? Why did they do it? Why did they put it together? It's a story that was well documented or whatever back in the 70s, or maybe it wasn't, maybe it was underreported, but I think it's good for the youth of this generation that actually you're learning about the fact that this sort of thing probably could, I mean, yes, backpackers do still get murdered, but not to the same extent, not with today's social media trails.
But also
Their
people,
absence would be reported a lot
CCTV,
sooner.
passport, electronic,
Yeah.
you know, digital, all of that. It would
and
never
murder's kind of
be like that.
usually you know, not the intention. I don't, you know, that they want to get the money, they want to steal from these people. I mean,
But also the
cigars.
alarm would be raised a lot sooner because of the digital connections that you have with everybody. Somebody at home is going to know that you haven't contacted them for 48 hours or whatever and start twitching about it. And whereas this would be like weeks and months where people have just
forgotten,
disappeared.
People that probably didn't matter to their families so much, or they're just on that South.
I mean, how long do you leave it while you haven't had a letter from somebody?
Yeah.
I haven't had a letter from either of you ever.
Well, you should be worried because I write to everybody all the time. It's not you.
Just, I want to talk briefly about the music and the titles. I thought, you know, so often we don't get music and titles these days. We just get whether the episode title comes up or something. It actually told the story of what was going on, and I like the way that they put like old-fashioned footage into where we were and like seeped us into
or they would, or it'd be
or pretend
like, up to date and pretend and that was quite effective.
Like postcards, zooming in on a postcard and then flashing to the scene, wasn't it?
And I think it's pointed this out. Everything. Go on.
It was just a quick question, really. I was never 100% sure why Herman's diplomatic career was at risk. Why the ambassador pushed back so much on
Megan answer this question.
His investigation. Yeah, go on.
Well, I don't know technically. I'm
Megan.
assuming it was because if you're an ambassador and in part of the diplomatic community, you're not supposed to create waves within the country that you're living in, and you're taking liberties to challenge the fact that the police aren't doing the jobs that they should be, and you know, you're not supposed to be the incident. And by him poking around and throwing his weight around, he was compromising the wider Dutch office. That was my interpretation.
It's absolutely right. Well done. All right. So just before, well, I think we can probably, unless anyone else has got anything they want to say, we'll move on to the big five.
Let me see. Let me just check my notes. Just a quick one on Angela, the wife of Herman. Apparently, in real life, she was very unhappy. Her role was downplayed, which I think is very interesting because I thought she seemed to be quite instrumental across the series in cracking the case. But so for her to have said quite openly, criticising, you didn't put me in there enough about how I cracked this case. She must have been really, you know, on it and helped crack the case.
Yeah, and she mostly just drove the car though.
Yeah, well, yeah, and
I suppose from a dramatic point of view, you needed the guy you already had the two ambassadors or whatever they were called trying to do it, and she was involved quite a lot as well.
Paul
and you had the wife of the other couple who went into the apartment and took the photos.
She became the character that represented the effect it was all having on him, on Burger. You know, losing his marriage and him, you know, giving his life over to this, really.
Yeah, I mean, she's become like so successful. She's become this. They divorced, and she became the UN High Representative for Disarmament Affairs. I mean, she's a big deal.
Yeah.
Ah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So isn't she
pretty
happy with
impressed
that?
when you see that at the end?
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
What else? Charles Manson, kind of similar kind of thing, you know, finding that hippie dream loophole.
Yes, except at least this one kind of sticks with the facts of the case and doesn't try and read. The amount of films that have rewritten the end of the Charles Manson story is weird. It's like a thing these days. I can think of 4 films that changed the end where Sharon Tate survives. So is that fair on Tarantino? I know it's really odd.
I only know obviously the Quentin Tarantino one, but
the 3 other films. And one is
done before Quentin's.
Yeah. I've done a lot more crassly. I mean, I quite like what they do in Quentin Tarantino's.
Oh yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Celebration, I think, of her. Whereas the other ones, it's just a little bit. Hold on a minute. This didn't happen. Have some respect for it. Anyway, we're getting carried away. All right, performance of the series. Megan, why don't you kick us off?
I think I have to stick with Jenna. I think I really,
Yeah, Deborah?
I would say either Nadine or Tahar Rahim, Charles Sobrage, Alain. So Nadine being the...
You're going for Nadine, are you?
Nadine or...
You're not allowed to.
Why?
Because it's performance, not performances. Which one do you want to let through?
Whichever.
Oh, well, that's just not playing the game. Well, I've got 2, actually.
Oh! Right. Fine.
Well, my two are Dominique and RJ, but I think I'm going to go for RJ because
AJ.
I think it was pronounced RJ.
Yeah, but without the R. It says RJ.
It was RJ.
Not
it was
RJ.
Very soft. I think if you go back and listen, Deborah, this is how he talked.
RJ.
Great. Right. Set piece of the series.
The Dominique escape for me.
Oh, for goodness sake. Yeah, Dominique. Yeah. Effect of the series.
Well, the Thailand backdrop, the look of it, the glamorous glasses, the Ken doll, Jenna looking amazing, and inspired me to go and buy some 70s glasses.
Yes, so she wasn't all bad then.
No, she was very beautiful.
How about you, Megan?
I'm not sure if they're really.
No, well, I've kind of gone with costume and location, really.
Yeah, the costumes for me, it was totally.
Yeah.
I just loved it. It was.
Although
really,
I do want to point out, no one looked that cool in the 70s.
No, not even the black and white photos of them. They didn't look as good as that. You look at pictures of.
I don't care.
No, that was my suspension of disbelief.
But Thailand looked amazing, and because I lived there, I was very interested in looking at which bits of it they were filming, because they filmed a lot of it in Hua Hin, which is where Laurie and I holidayed for a few times as well when we were in Thailand. So
you holiday when you were on holiday?
Yeah, well, I wasn't on holiday. I was teaching.
Yeah. Right. Any other suspensions of disbelief? Are you talking
about the stupid factor?
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of smoking in it, wasn't there? Incessant smoking, literally one after the other.
I love that.
When she visits Charles in prison and she's ill, and his contempt for her, why? Why is this so much
toxic male?
Well, I know, but he's put up with her in his mind, has he, for so long? I don't know. There was just.
That aging makeup was appalling.
Well, I interpreted it as like that she was not the beautiful.
That she became a pain in the ass to him.
Barbie, she was decreased.
You know what? If you're stuck in like a Bangkok or an Indian prison, wherever it was, I'm not sure your looks are going to hold out either.
No, I don't blame her for it, but he was such a narcissist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My suspension of disbelief was the crocheted bikini.
Oh. And resuscitation factor.
Was Nadine wearing it, or did I just like?
Was it Nadine? Was it when she was going up and down in the pool?
That was awful.
When
Paul was up in
the yeah, and
like in a good way. It was very tense.
Yeah, it was very
and when he hit her. Ooh.
I know.
Horrible.
And in front of people, and also on the street as well. They were just so used to seeing drunk Westerners, I suppose. Or just the tomfoolery. I don't know. Nobody said or did anything.
Yeah. All right, resuscitation factor. Do you think we could get another series out of this?
No, the guy's serving time in Kathmandu. That's it. Game over.
Unless he escapes.
Well, again, that would be his third time, wouldn't it?
All right, so let's score it, shall we? Oh dear, I've got a feeling you guys aren't going to score it quite as high as me. All right, I'll kick us off. Storyline and plot, I've given it a 9 out of 10.
6.
7.
Characterization and performances, Deborah.
7.
Megan.
7.
10.
What?
Style. Yeah.
It's like the best acting you've ever seen in your life,
Do you
James.
remember when I was talking about the acting and I said everyone was really good?
Yeah, but 10. Like the
And the
best
bit
acting
about El Dorado.
you have ever seen. Like you're
Yeah.
so
That
blown
your
away
benchmark is
that
better
you
than El
think.
Dorado.
I really liked El Dorado.
My friend was
Funny.
in El Dorado.
Which one?
The ginger guy,
Oh, Blair Lockhead.
maybe, but he's
Incredibly tall.
Jaunty
a
Reason.
rotund nose. I hope he's got his nasal passages sorted out.
Why? What was wrong with his nasal passages?
It was very nasal. It was very nasal.
Yeah, he is a little bit nasal. He's lovely. He
Great
lives in
actor.
Australia now. Yeah,
Great actor.
he's a friend of mine.
Brother of Nessa Lockhead.
I didn't watch El Dorado, I'm afraid.
Okay, there was a terrible moment when he pushed someone in the pool, and they couldn't. He knew that they couldn't swim. I'll edit this out. Right, characterization of hello. That's not him.
That's Jaunty Reason.
Who's that?
That's my friend.
Hold on a minute. Sorry, Megan.
He-
Bear with us.
He's in El Dorado.
Hold on a minute. I think you've got yourself confused.
Let me find out what his character's name was in El Dorado.
I know. There was only one ginger person in it.
Hmm.
That's Blair Lockhead.
He
Hold it up. We can't see.
no,
Well, it is definitely.
but that's not what he played. El,
And that was his sister Nessa.
Oh,
Uh,
yes.
Yeah.
he
One of the first wheelchair
he
users
was
to
Mickey.
appear on the
He was
set.
Mickey the drug dealer.
Oh well, that wasn't. He wasn't part of the regular cast, was he?
He was in 4 episodes.
Scathing.
4 episodes. It ran for about. Well, it ran for a year.
12.
So no, 5 times 50, 250 episodes. Anyway,
There you
we
go.
digress.
There we go.
Right. So, what are you giving it for characterization and performances?
Oh,
7.
yeah,
7.
We've said that.
we've done it.
Oh, we've
given
done
you
that one. Sorry.
Yep.
Style. Deborah.
9.
8.
10.
Like it's the best looking thing you've ever seen.
We
I
just
mean,
talked for about 20 minutes about how good it looked.
you're unbelievable.
Oh, I really enjoy. Look, I
It looked better than El Dorado.
Well,
I liked El Dorado very much. All right.
The set on El
Originality.
Dorado was made without any plumbing, so they couldn't even reutilize it afterwards.
Also, they stupidly made the whole town out of stone. And so when they started filming, they didn't. It echoed all over the place. So they couldn't.
Should have used polystyrene like the.
Like the actors, don't you say it. Right, originality, Megan.
6.
Oh, 10.
it's a tricky one to score originality, given that it's a real story. But 5 because of the
Real
way.
stories can be told originally, can't they? An
Yeah.
absorption factor, 9 from me. See, I can be picky.
3.
What?
7.
I
Bloody
nearly
hell.
gave up on it twice, Jane. Well, I did give up on it once, and I nearly gave up on it a
Oh,
second
how
time.
depressing. Right. Luckily, I didn't give up on it. 48 from me.
Yeah, but you don't give up on the Flash. 34 from me. Oh, sorry.
31.
Oh, we've doubled it, haven't we? 68.
Yeah, 62.
Oh, wait, hold on. Are we doubling it? Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
It's been so long. All right. So I have to use a calculator. Okay. So double up your scores, please. It gets 96 from me.
68. What you're saying is better than It's a Sin?
I can't be responsible for the scoring.
Yes.
It
Gets
was a nice
10.
location.
It
James,
gets 62
Steph.
from me. That's an average of 75.3 recurring.
Oh my
Oh,
word.
wow, you're quick.
75.3.
75.3.
You know, I
recurring.
liked it, but God, it wasn't better than Mare.
Exactly. It
Well,
wasn't
it-
better than Mare, and it
Well, it
definitely
isn't better
wasn't
than math. There
Well,
you
And
go.
it
Well, it's
wasn't
0.5%.
better
It comes in at
0.5% less than Mare. Mare was 76%.
no 77%.
I got 76 here written on my notes.
Well, you haven't got the official notes, have you? Right, it comes in at place number 4, just below Mayor of Easttown, and above Friends of Reunion. I think that's fair enough. I mean,
I think it comes in at the same as the Terror, doesn't it?
75.5, you said?
75.3 recurring.
Yeah, 75.3. The Terror was 76.7.
Oh.
Good. The Terror was better.
I disagree. All right, so before we wrap up the show, Deborah.
Yes.
It's your turn to pick.
Yes.
Do you have some clues for us?
Yes. Clue number 1. This is the 14th collaboration between 2 of the stars. One of the stars also wrote and created the series.
Ooh.
Clue number 2. The third star, so there are 3 stars. The third star is an American pop singer and actress starting her TV career on Barney Kids TV. And I just have to say, I didn't know about this until today, until I did a look up of what should we look at next.
Oh, hold on a minute. Is it that American pop star girl with black hair who used to be a wizard?
Who used to be a wizard?
Wizard of Waverly Place. Yeah, I think I've seen the trailer. Go on.
Okay, clue number 3. The writer, star of the show, famously plays the banjo and was a stand-up comedian. He was also one of the biggest stars in the 80s and 90s.
You're only allowed 3 clues. You sound like you've got more lined up.
I've got one more, just as a backup, if you're stuck. The star of the show shares the same surname as the other star's first name.
Oh, well, those clues are supposed to get easier as they go along. I've no idea. Do you, Megan?
I don't know. No.
You haven't got a clue.
And as I say, I wouldn't have known because I only came across this show today. Okay, it is called Only Murders in the Building.
Yes.
It was only released at the end of August. Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez. It's on the Disney Plus channel. There's 10 episodes, and it's meant to be a hoot.
I haven't got Disney Plus.
I thought you did.
All right, don't worry. I have a way of making it help.
All right, I'll cough up.
Okay.
Oh no, I thought you did.
No, it's fine.
Oh, I thought, okay, we can move to another channel now because we've done Netflix, we've done BBC. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't you worry.
It's all right. There's ways of
small investment for the.
And I look forward to telling you all the story about when I met. What were those 2? Martin Short and Stephen, whatever his name is.
Martin.
They were on the
Short.
I was. They were on the One show about a year ago, and I was there. Very nice people.
Get you.
Oh.
Right. Okay. So that's it.
Wait.
What?
Oh, Post Mortem.
I know, but as I said at the start, and I was about to say again before I was rudely interrupted, that if you stick around after the credits, after the music, you'll be able to hear our post-mortem.
Well, I think it was worth reminding the audience.
I was about to!
Oh, okay. Can I sing a song?
Is it to do with the 70s cop shows?
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay, so it's hard.
We're going to get a warning for using music on the show with that one.
Yeah.
I don't think you could call that music.
Now, what was that? The Rockford Files?
Heart to Heart.
No, it wasn't.
This is my boss, Jonathan Hart, a self-made millionaire. He's quite a guy. This is Mrs. H. She's gorgeous. She's one lady who knows how to take care of herself. By the way, my name is Max. I take care of both of them, which ain't easy. Because when they met, it was murder.
Oh yeah. I loved Heart to Heart.
I loved it too, and I
loved it.
watched an episode of it the other day, and it's still as terrible and as charming as it ever was. Although I do watch it with very suspicious eyes. When I watch Robert Wagner, I just think,
Why? What did he do?
He's a murderer. He's a murderer.
In the show?
He's a murderer in real
When they
life.
met, it
In real
was
life?
murder. Of course.
Oh, allegedly, yes.
Hold on, who did he murder?
He pushed Natalie Wood off the boat.
Are we talking about real life or television life?
Real life.
Okay, I need to know who Natalie Wood is.
West Side Story.
West Side Story.
The Rebel Without a Cause with James Dean.
Oh.
I
Well, maybe
feel
she would be
pretty.
very
The
annoying.
most beautiful,
So
wonderful
pretty.
actress, and she was his. You know, they were together, and they're on a yacht, and he flipping well pushed her off the boat.
Allegedly, how do you know we're going to get sued our asses off? How do you know he pushed her off the boat? Maybe
It's a very, very big. If you look on social media, you can watch
Totally
programs.
googling this. Totally
Upon
googling it.
programs, there are so many documentaries and programs and eyewitness
Your own
So
little
I
character
suppose
witnesses.
if Rose had fallen when she was doing her stupid attention-seeking suicide bid in Titanic, and Jack hadn't been able to save her, he'd have been accused of killing her as well, would he?
Titanic is made up, as in the story of Jack and Rose.
Fairly sure there was a boat called Titanic.
And I'm fairly sure there was people called Jack and Rose.
Jack and Rose, the characters as portrayed by James Cameron, they're made up.
The pearl of the ocean, the jewel of the ocean, the whatever of the ocean. I'm very excited about Titanic at the moment because my friend Jane has never seen it. And we're going to France in a couple of weeks and I'm taking a DVD. So every time I see her at the moment, I go, "Are you ready?" She goes, "What for?" "To go back to Titanic."
Yes. And when you do watch it with her, just make a note of how many times, and they genuinely are taking the piss throughout the whole film when they say, "Jack, Rose, Rose, Jack, Jack, Rose, Rose, Jack,
Rocky.
Jack." Honestly, I've counted. They say it a million times because they're
Only for
taking
two people that don't exist. Right, Megan, come on. What's your pick of the 70s cop drama? Or whatever we're looking at.
Well, you can't beat a bit of Quincy, can you?
Da, 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 da.
I think that, yeah. I mean, that's a classic. But I mean, there's just so many of them. Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, well, we've got a dog called Starsky.
I mean, it's interesting. You've got a dog called Starsky.
Yeah.
You've got a dog called Columbo.
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
and
I'm
we've
allowed
got-
to point out I was the first one to name my pet.
Not true, actually. Not true. I've got a cat called Miss Marple. The persons that came up with the detective names was my mother-in-law with Cagney and Lacey, the two little Yorkie
I don't
Terriers.
recognise your mother-in-law.
Well, I don't care that you don't. She was the first one that came up with the detectives. Then you did. Then we did Miss Marple. Then Vicky did Audrey and Cooper from Twin Peaks. And now...
In fact, and actually, Audrey wasn't a detective.
What was she?
She was just a
character.
She was Ben Horn's daughter, wasn't she? She could tangle a cherry.
Oh,
By
her.
the stalk with her tongue.
Yes. I remember
Anyway,
that.
come on, right. So, come on. What was
Quincy.
your go-to show? Quincy, was it, Megan?
Quincy,
I've never seen
but
Quincy.
as an alternative crime drama, does anybody recognise? Da 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 da.
The Red Hand Gang!
Love the Red Hand
Da
Gang.
da 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 da. Yeah. La la la.
Yeah, the
Brilliant.
Red Hand Gang.
Brilliant. Had all the makings.
Loved it.
Yeah,
It was
really,
like
really,
Saturday-
really good.
Saturday morning or Sunday morning, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Saturday morning. I think it was BBC.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I think they
BBC.
only made one or two series. There aren't that many episodes, but it accommodates a disproportionate.
I
corner of
remember.
my
Groundbreaking
memory.
at the
I
time,
remember
really.
one specific scene that resonated so well with me, and I thought, yeah, they're so clever. And obviously, on reflection, it's really not clever at all. But they were being chased by these bad men, and they were in this house. I suppose it's a bit like Home Alone, but not. And they thought, oh, well, yeah, we're going to trick them, and they swapped the hot tap and the cold tap over, and then the men come running in. It's like, oh, I need to use a tap. Oh, it's cold.
Brilliant. And they got red hands in there as well, because they'd have burned their hands. Brilliant. Well, obviously, we've got to talk about Columbo. I think that's the father of all detective shows.
Not necessarily the father, but it's very, very good.
Yeah.
That's a big statement.
Yeah, well,
father.
Well, for that 70s, because I don't think we
Is that
have
not
that
Kojak?
anymore. You had all those real stars that had come from either the movies and stuff like that, and they were all getting
Peter
on a
Falk
bit.
could come from the movies.
No, I know, but you know the guest stars. You'd always have a really important couple of guest stars.
Oh, I see what you mean. Sorry. Oh, Billy Connolly was on that once, and he was awful.
That's just ruined my point.
He's much better.
And also,
Mrs.
Columbo
Brown.
didn't turn up for like half an hour.
Yeah, that's true.
Who did?
Yeah,
Columbo, because they did the
set the
whole setup.
So it was very different than any other in that you knew from the outset who had done it.
Yeah.
And it was watching them try and get away with it rather than every other cop show where they're trying to work out who it is.
Who done it.
And
yeah,
you
yeah.
also don't know. Whereas Columbo, you knew, and that always resonated.
Yeah, and there was also a bit of a social
very
class thing,
true.
because the murderers were always loaded beyond belief. So why they didn't just get on a jet plane and fly away instead of having to go to all this trouble of murdering someone. But Columbo was like there in a raincoat and a crappy car and a very nice dog, and would just slowly annoy the hell out of them, which is brilliant.
Yeah, rub them up the wrong way.
You know, they would, and it was always the same. At the start, they would be tickled by this funny little man, and then they become mildly irritated, and then they get really fucking angry with him. And then they go, yeah, I got you.
Do you think that his genesis was linked to Poirot? I think he has some similar.
Yes, the whole irritating.
He was born out of Poirot. I don't think he'd have existed had
I
Poirot
don't recognise Poirot.
You don't recognise him. He's the man with the tash from Belgium.
No, I've never seen that either.
David Suchet. I mean, that
he was on the radio today.
Never seen Morse. Never seen Poirot. I don't think I've seen.
Have you seen 80 Days Around the World?
Which one? With Willie Fogg?
With Willie Fogg.
Yes, of course. With the cat.
Yes.
Which I was very disappointed to find she wasn't in the book.
The cat.
The cat with the eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
It was a wolf with the eye. The cat was the goodie. Anyway, so yeah, that was quite a big statement. So if you're saying that he's the godfather or the father, then I suppose Jessica Fletcher, was she 70s or was that just 80s?
She's 70s.
I think they ran for a long time. That
and
show.
Tail end of the 70s, I think.
Then she must be the godmother, or not?
Yeah, it was a bit more. Whereas Columbo was a bit more whiskey on the rocks. Murder She Wrote was a bit like a cup of tea and a bit of a storm.
She's a bit more like Vera.
She's a bit more like. Well, no, she was a bit more like Miss Marple, wasn't she? See, both of them robbed from Agatha Christie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
and then you got the tail end. Did Juliet Bravo make it into the 70s or was she 80s?
It was definitely 80s.
I want her to have been
you had Juliet Bravo and Cat's Eyes and all that kind of stuff, didn't you?
That was the one.
And I love those.
I loved
dramas where the
Gentle
the
Touch.
women were in charge.
Gentle
Touch,
Gentle Touch, and then Cat's Eyes spawned from that.
And then obviously Prime
Dempsey and Makepeace.
Dempsey and Makepeace.
Loved
I mean,
Dempsey and
80s,
Makepeace,
wasn't it?
The Scarecrow and Mrs. King.
Did it? The Scarecrow.
Again, very disappointed to find out he wasn't actually a scarecrow. I watched a lot of like fantasy nonsense.
The Scarecrow and what?
Mrs. King.
I don't know that.
So was he like the Beast, or is there another one which?
No, you're thinking of not Midnight Caller, but there was a Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, Beauty and the Beast.
Which was so dull.
No, it wasn't. We loved it. We watched it every
was.
Saturday. That was Linda Hamilton who was in Terminator.
In that show ever.
I watched it every week. It was such a lovely. We watched the sexual chemistry between lion and human. It was just so wonderful. We just wanted them to kiss.
Really a lion. I think he just had a facial deformity.
Yeah, he looked like a lion.
Yeah, he had that sort of like separated top lip thing going on, didn't he?
They were in love, and he had whiskers.
Kojak.
Yes.
See,
Was
I
that any
don't
good?
think I ever really watched Kojak.
I mean, I was very young, but I remember Telly Savalas very well and it being on, and I used to think he was called Kodak.
And wasn't there a poem made up about him? A kid's poem. I can't remember. Something about a lollipop. I don't know. Starsky and Hutch. Never saw that. I've never seen any of these.
Chips.
Chips,
That
I
was
used to
eight-
love
that
that.
was
So
firmly
Chips,
80s.
I can remember being at my grandparents' and being told that we could either watch Starsky and Hutch or Chips, and I heard we can watch Starsky and Hutch or have chips.
Oh,
And so I said chips. I want chips. And everyone else was fighting for Starsky and Hutch, and for some reason I won, and was very disappointed to discover that it did not involve potato-y fried goodness.
so that must have been on 2 different channels then. So I would imagine that Chips would have been on ITV.
Chips
then.
was definitely on ITV. Yeah.
Yeah. But I love Chips. I love. Was it Sancho?
I don't really remember it.
Sancho Panza. Why am I thinking?
No, it wasn't It was Poncho.
Does anyone remember what Chips stood for?
Poncinelli. Oh,
Yeah.
what was his name?
Punch. It was Punch.
What did Chips stand for?
The
California
Californian
Highway Patrol.
Patrol.
Yeah, hold on. California Highway what?
Patrol.
California Highway Patrol.
So they cheated. It's
HI Highway
Patrol. Oh.
Highway to Heaven. No, that was never really a murder mystery.
And it was also very 80s, Highway to Heaven.
Very 80s.
Very 80s indeed. Oh, so if you had to choose one, what would it be?
To rewatch, like if you had to sit
The
down
whole
and
lot.
rewatch
Oh, I
one
think
right
all
now.
of them are a bit hard to rewatch. You
No,
said
just
you-
one episode.
I know, but even one episode. I mean, I can't be bothered watching Columbo these days. I loved it when I was a kid. Deborah, you said you rewatched Hide to Hide.
Yeah.
What was it like?
It was
I mean,
just,
that was just complete
it's
nonsense.
just so cozy, though. It's just really cozy. You sit back and it's ridiculous and cozy.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Yeah, and unfortunately, with all these shows, they did the terrible thing of bringing
Laughing
them
at the
back
end.
for reunion specials. So they did it for Heart to Heart. And Max was dead. The dog was dead. The house had burned
Freeway
down.
was dead. Who'd
Yeah.
have thought 50 years later?
Yeah. And Columbo was just very frail at the end. In fact, he wanted to do one final show, but they wouldn't let him. So
Probably a wise decision.
probably.
I would go, but I would quite happily watch Quincy.
I never saw that.
What's
I loved a bit of Quincy.
what's Dick Van Dyke one again?
Asylum for Murder.
that's
No,
the
It
one.
was like virtually the 90s.
it's practically still running.
Featuring in the early episodes, Chachi from Happy Days.
Oh, Scott Baio.
Ah.
I was totally in love with Scott Baio.
Yeah.
Did
From
you hear what happened to
Karate
Jodie?
Kid.
Scott Baio. Did you hear what happened to Jodie?
That's Ralph Macchio.
Do you know Jodie from
is.
Chachi
You're
Loves
right.
Jodie? From Happy Days?
Jodie.
Yeah, died in
Shit.
poverty with nothing. to her
Was it
name,
drugs?
Yeah, drugs,
Yeah.
alcohol,
Yeah.
caravan addiction. Very sad.
Caravan.
Yeah, she
Caravan.
ended up in a caravan. There we go.
Oh, I thought you said she was addicted to
It's
caravans.
caravans.
She was probably addicted to it a bit. Oh, well. Anything else?
Any of the cop
I think we've
shows?
kind of got all that covered.
Magnum PI.
Do you think those times will ever come again? Well, I mean, I don't watch these kind of procedural dramas, but it all
Dukes
seems
of
a bit
Hazzard.
grim these days.
I think there are still lots of the police procedurals. We probably just don't watch it. You've got like Bones and Castle and Risley and Isles and
Never heard of any of these.
Vera and there's
Midsummer
Murders.
those Grantchester, not sort of police procedural, but there are loads. Silent Witness, yeah. So there are loads of them out there.
And of course, we haven't mentioned the one that was made in the 2000s, but set in the 70s. Anyone tell me what that was?
Made in Oh no, that was 60.
Ashes
I'm
to Ashes.
afraid you're out of time. No, it's
Mars.
Life on Mars. Ashes
Like
to
that
Ashes
Life on
is a
Mars, and then the
one-set.
follow-up was Ashes to Ashes, wasn't it?
Was indeed.
Yeah.
Right. So
Well, there you go.
that was
Little
nice, wasn't
little
it?
jaunt down memory lane.
So and we have no idea what the show's about for next time, do we? So we can't decide what our next thing is. So stay tuned, dear listener.
More murder, isn't it?
Well,
So
it's comedy murder in buildings.
Comedy murders.
nice.
Murder Most Horrid springs to mind. So comedy murders. There we go. That's what we can cover next time.
Comedy
Get
murder.
your thinking caps on.
Comedy murders.
Oh, I quite like that,
Is
George.
murder ever funny?
Murder Most Horrid.
Clue.
Is it really funny?